Welcome back to another YouTube video. This one will be a little different, more on the educational side. This will be a video on how I find my daily bias / draw on liquidity. Okay, make sure you watch the full video as the last one is pretty much secret sauce. Not secret sauce, but something that most people don't really know of, and honestly, very useful. Okay, so for the first one, it'll be I'll go over around three. I'll make a part two video for this because there's a lot more to it, but just like kind of a beginner friendly start. How I find my drawing liquidity daily bias, and for the first one, kind of obvious, is going to be session liquidities. Okay, so you guys probably know this already, stuff like that. If you want a screenshot, this is all my settings to find certain London lows, Asia highs, opens, stuff like that. Very useful, very useful. It's honestly my number one thing that I use for my daily bias. Okay, so how can you use it in your advantage? First of all, you need to understand accumulation, manipulation, distribution. You need to understand PO3. You need to understand stuff like that I'll do more of a video on. But most of the time, price kind of magnates towards Asia and London lows as you trade in New York AM session. Okay, so as you just see, let's say for this past day, you have PM session and then you have Asia session. Okay, so like I said, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So here you have Asia high, Asia low. You accumulate throughout full Asia. Okay, then London you manipulate higher, sweep out Asia high, tap into I think it was an hourly gap, hourly order block, and then you just start to see the distribution down to Asia lows, and honestly, dump even more. Okay, so that is how you should kind of use session liquidities. It's always getting manipulated to stuff like that. Let's see if I can find another example. As you can see, this was Friday AM session. Manipulated down, okay, had a reversal all the way back to AM highs. Okay, so yeah, it was pretty much of a simple. It's very simple, very obvious. As you can see here, both Asia and London manipulated, or not manipulated, sorry, accumulated, generating liquidity to the upside. As you can see, boom, just all that liquidity. Okay, AM opens, boom, takes out both of them, moves even lower. Okay, so that is pretty self-explanatory. I'm sure a lot of people use it, so obviously it's gonna be the first one as we get into this video. Okay, now for the second thing I use is unfilled gaps. Okay, what I mean by this are gaps that are unfilled and have resting orders in them. Okay, so price likes to obviously move down, rebalance, move down, or move up, rebalance, move up. Okay, so with that being said, when you have gaps that are open, let's say for this example, perfect one right here, you have a clear downtrend. Okay, we're moving down. Okay, in order for us to continue moving down, we're gonna have to manipulate higher. Okay, so what do? Manipulate higher, 2 p.m., open high, low close. That is another thing that I'll probably do a video on later. But just for daily bias purposes, you could use gaps to obviously move back down. Okay, so you could, let's say if you knew we were going to manipulate to this gap, you could have found a long. Okay, so just because your daily bias is clearly sometimes always in the right direction, you could trade both ways. That is the best part about trading. Okay, so let's say you see us tap this 5-minute BPR, which is probably a 15-minute gap if I were to guess. So A, we're tapping unfilled gaps, like I said. And B, why does TradingView do this, bro? Okay, so yeah, it wasn't a 15-minute gap, but it's 15-minute order block. So boom, you're pretty obvious and confident that we're going to continue moving lower, so we're going to have to manipulate into the unfilled gap on the 4-hour, as you can see. So in order to move lower, sorry, it's an hourly gap. In order for us to move lower, we're have to move up. Okay, so good thing about trading, you could trade both ways. So boom, manipulate into this 5-minute BPR, good wick down, and then you define your entry model, whatever you use, whatever you want, IFEG, whatever model. There's so many models out there that the model doesn't really matter. Okay, as you just see, we had the 5-minute tap BPR right here. If you use Powell's rejection blocks, boom, entered there. IFEG, boom, entered there. Any model really works, okay? But the purpose is that you have clear draw liquidity, okay? Now for bias, we tap the hourly gap. What do? We respect it almost to the 0.5. Basically to the 0.5, and then we start moving lower, okay? What also is this? Is a 2 p.m. open high, low close, okay, boom. Swept out liquidity, okay, boom. Now you have both drawn liquidity that you were able to see because of an unfilled gap, and then B, you had your daily bias, which was shorter, and in order for us to go shorter, we would have to move up and tap an unfilled gap. Okay, now what stops this from touching this unfilled gap? Well, look at this move down and look at the moves up. Okay, so if I'm seeing big red candles to the downside and small green candles to the upside, if we were truly bearish, we wouldn't tap this gap. We would leave it open for us to continue lower. So if we were bullish, we would probably tap this, play around in here, and then inverse this, and then come to equal highs or whatever. But since we are extremely bearish, which we could agree on, that I don't have to make a video on, you can clearly see we're moving down, then we wouldn't tap the second gap. We would leave it open, showing signs that sellers are in control, and boom, we move back down. So that is the second drawn liquidity tip that I have / daily bias, unfilled gaps. Okay, for now, my favorite, okay? It's not my secret sauce, but it's my favorite. Order flow. Okay, now it's not the order flow you're thinking about where it's a book map where it shows all your orders and all that order flow stuff. Okay, you're probably thinking that. No, okay. Order flow in a way where I like to think about it for a little beginner friendly. Buyers and sellers fighting each other, okay? Now, I could probably do a whole video on this because it's extremely important, in my opinion. Extremely important. What I mean by order flow is, what is price doing? Now, it sounds obvious, right? What is price doing? Okay, we're clearly moving lower. Okay, but when I say order flow, I mean the actual order and flow that price is going. What I mean by this is, what is price respecting and what is price disrespecting? So, like I said, it's kind of a game between buyers and sellers. Who is winning? As of now, as of the market for November 6th or November 11th, sorry, oh my God, time is flying. We are pretty bearish. Every time we move down, it's a fast down, slow up. So buyers are completely in control. Not only that, but going back, gaps, okay? Gaps are getting respected to the downside, and bearish gaps are getting disrespected to the downside, okay? So, like I said, I like to think about it as buyers and sellers fighting, okay? So, let's say in this scenario, price is right here, okay? Let's say you don't see this big ass dump, okay? So, ideally, you could say we're kind of bullish to these equal highs. Fair enough. If we want to go to these equal highs, we would respect this gap right here. Okay. So if we were to respect that gap, then I'd be like, okay, maybe we're going bullish, going to these equal highs here and here. No, what do you see? A complete dump. Complete dump. Okay, well, hindsight warrior. Yeah, obviously this was too quick for you to even think. Okay, let's take a look back. This is all-time highs, by the way, okay? once again, if we were continuing to move higher, we would want to respect bullish order flow. What do? Sweep out a high, all-time highs, by the way. Boom, big ass dump, inverse 1, 2 hourly gaps and a lead. Okay, consolidate a bit considering we had a big dump, normal. What do? We start closing below lows. Okay, we made a lower low. Okay, screaming bearish. However, okay, fair enough. We have 4-hour gaps, daily gaps. Okay, fair enough. Maybe that was a retracement. No. Okay, so you continue moving lower. We're respecting bearish order flow. Okay. Had a couple of shitty price action days. Happens. Okay, sweep liquidity. And we move down. If we were bullish, this gap would have got respected. What did it do? Disrespected, manipulated back into it, made a lower high, not SMT, I'm not sure, probably is, maybe, and continue moving lower. So if we were bearish, or if we were bullish, this would have got respected, this initial move would have got respected, and overall, this would have got respected. Okay, what do? Flush right down, manipulate back up. Okay, now if we're switching bullish, these gaps would get respected. This gap would get respected. What do? We just completely blow past it and keep on blowing past it and blowing past it. Okay, now for price right now, we had a good move up. Okay, we disrespected this gap, and we changed in state. So for the future, what did we just learn? Unfilled gaps. So now that we're moving up, we already targeted this unfilled gap and closed above it. So now my net strong liquidity, both were still bearish. So if we were to continue moving lower, we would have to touch these unfilled gaps as it's kind of needed in order for us to move back down. Okay, so you could play this in both directions. You have this unfilled 4-hour, boom. You have this unfilled 4-hour, boom. Okay, so as day traders, we're not swing trading, we're intraday. So this is the external liquidity. Now, markets do move from internal to external. I'll do a whole nother video on that. I have a lot of YouTube videos coming soon. So, but for daily buys and drawn liquidity based focuses, I'm now bullish in a sense that we need to move up in order to continue moving back down in the bigger picture. So what am I looking for next week? A little weekly buys video inside of, but what I'm saying is we learned about unfilled gaps. So now our drawn liquidity is unfilled gaps to the downside because we're obviously bearish. So we could trade the move up and we could trade the move down as day traders. So yeah, order flow is really important. I could possibly do a whole video on that, but that is my third kind of trick or ways I find my daily bias / strong liquidity. Okay, now as for the secret sauce, the things you guys have been waiting for, and not many people talk about it. Okay, it's true day open. Okay, true day open is the 12 a.m. midnight. It's EST, or 12 a.m. EST open. Okay, you can find it once again on this indicator right here. True day open 12 to 1, so it's just the open. Okay, so I'll give you some examples. Ideally, the secret sauce, quote unquote, about it is that true day open is a magnet to it's a magnet to price, whether it's above or below. If you're very far from true day open, most of the time you'll retrace back into it, which should give you a drawn liquidity. If you open on true day open and you manipulate one direction, most of the times it's going to distribute in the other direction. If you're accumulating true day open, you'll find a manipulation to the upside or downside, and then you can find us moving lower, higher past true day open. But it's in a way, price always reacts off of it. It's always attracted to it. Okay, So how do you find it? You can use the indicator, or you could just draw out the body open of 12 a.m. So what this secret sauce is, in a way, that most people don't really talk about it, is that the open to be used as manipulation, like I said. So as you can see right here, we open, immediately pump up, boom, sweep out liquidity, and then we make our move down. We have a big down close candle, and then we retrace into it, and then we move straight to true day open. Okay, what do you see at true day open? It kind of, taps it a little bit, shows some restricting or whatever resistance, and then we blow past it. And then once this is the sauce, in my opinion. Once you have the manipulation move, and you go back to true day open, and you close below true day open on a 15-minute, 5-minute, 30-minute, a good close, most of the times, like right here, you can use this as evidence that we're going to continue lower. Because true day open is like a line of area where price is completely balanced in a way that we are balanced enough to either move down or up. So here we tap it, 1, 2, 2 15-minute candles. So about 30 minutes of resistance. Close below it strongly, manipulate into the 15-minute gap, and make our move down. And that move down was extremely bearish. Okay. Now, what does price need to do? It needs to retrace back to true day open, because it's a balance of price. Everything in price only moves if it's balanced. It's only moved if it's at a fair price. No stock market or futures market only moves up and only moves down. It's always retracing, it's always rebalancing, and finding those trades as a day trader is when it's rebalanced, okay, we're ready to move up. It's rebalanced, we're ready to move down. Okay. So here we close below strongly, create a gap, Asia lows, boom, A plus, draw liquidity. 1,000,000% you're tapping this Asia low plus more. Okay. So now that we close below it and we show extreme bearish to the downside, now price is extremely unbalanced. What do? You guessed it. We rebalance back to true day open. Okay. We have another pump back up. Very, very V-shaped recovery. Honestly, beautiful. Very surprising that it happened on a Friday. But yeah, if you see that true day open is far away, you can expect a reversal to true day open. If you see that we're manipulating at true day open and we close below it or below it, you could see that there's a session liquidity to the downside. You could almost 90% like this possibly find a trade to the downside. Okay, so now let's see another. My God, would you look at this? True day open. What do? Manipulated straight down. So literally this has happened 2 days in a row. So draw true day open. Okay. Once true day open happens, we strictly just boom, manipulate down. Okay. Now I'm confident that we did have SMT at this low. So ideally we took out Asia lows on London. So now that we took out Asia lows on London and true day open had no manipulation to the upside, just straight shooting down. Yep, we're going to go back to true day open. So boom, SMT, find your model, whatever, blah, 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 whatever, doesn't matter. Boom, true day open, what do you see? Tap it, tap it, tap it, close above. Once we get that good close above, create a gap, what do? Retrace into it. Wasn't the cleanest, but ideally we respected the gap that true day open closed above. So what do? Move up. Okay, not the best move up, obviously. But ideally, it goes back to true day open. So we make our move up after it closes above and taps, I think 50% of this leg. Yeah, taps about 50%, sweeps out liquidity. And once you get that confirmation, we're going back to true day open. Now, what does this do? completely dumps past true day open. Yeah, this dump kind of unexpected, but true day open is just a magnet towards price, and if you know how to use it when it opens, trust me, your eyes just this is probably worth millions of dollars, bro. No troll, obviously trolling. But yeah, let me see if I give you another quick example. So you see, we tap true day open, true day open, true day open. Okay, we have initial move up. So this leg mostly needs to get rebalanced. So boom, this leg gets rebalanced, taps 0.5 perfectly. True day open, close below it, manipulate. Okay, this one's a little bit harder to read, but clear accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So yeah, true day open is very good for drawing liquidity, and honestly, yeah. But yeah, these 4 things are how I find my draw liquidity and daily buys every day. Obviously, when I do my daily buys videos on my YouTube, I've done it. I've already seen the price so much that obviously this might take you a while to really learn and see how it's actually working in real time. But I promise you, once you get it, you kind of know where price is going 75-80% of the times. Not to my own horn, but if you do look at my daily buys videos, I'm kind of right almost 75-80% of the times, and that is solely off screen time. But if you do focus on these things, I promise you, you'll see immense win rate and honestly discretion in the market. And honestly, I could do a part 2 video. There's some stuff that I did leave out kind of, but honestly, number 4, number 3 are just extremely valuable. Order flow, extremely good. Session lows and highs, kind of self-explanatory, kind of how the market moves. Liquidity, unfilled gaps, internal to external, which I'll do a whole nother video on. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, as it was kind of a different one, educational one. I'm trying to put out more information out for free, as you guys deserve it, and honestly, a lot of people are getting into it. So, kind of show you guys what I know and how I do some stuff. So, like always, I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see y'all boys later. Peace.